Welcome back, beginner web developers, to another explainer. Today, we're talking about the literal threads that weave isolated, lonely pages into the massive interconnected network we call the World Wide Web. If you've already mastered basic HTML tags, you are totally ready for the magic ingredient, hyperlinks. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at 1. The power of links, 2. The anchor tag syntax, 3. Absolute versus relative URLs, 4. Building navigation menus, 5. Link best practices, and finally, 6. A recap and practice task. We're using a scaffolding approach, starting simple and building our way up to a full navigation menu. Section 1. The power of links. Okay, let's dive into this. Think about it. Without hyperlinks, the web literally wouldn't be a web at all, right? It would just be a massive, disorganized pile of disconnected text files. A hyperlink is simply a feature that, when clicked, tells your browser to jump to another document, a specific part of a page, or even a completely different resource like a PDF. They are absolutely the core innovation of the internet. Section 2. The anchor tag syntax. Time to unlock your new web development superpower. So how do we actually create a link? The anatomy of it is actually quite straightforward, and it all relies on the anchor tag. Step 1. You open it with a simple A inside your angle brackets. That A just stands for anchor. Step 2, you need an attribute inside that opening tag called href. That stands for hypertext reference. You just set href equal to your target destination, the URL you want to send the user to, wrapped in quotes. And finally, step 3, write the visible text you actually want the user to click on and close it out with a standard closing A tag. Boom, you've got a link. Now, what's really interesting here is how the code on the left directly translates to what your user sees in the browser on the right. Visit website is sandwiched exactly between the opening and closing tags, so it appears as clickable, usually blue and underlined text. The actual URL inside the href, that's completely hidden from the user's view, but it's the exact address the browser is going to request when that blue text gets clicked. Section 3. Absolute versus relative URLs. Which brings us to a great question. How does the browser know exactly where to find that destination file? Well, there are two main types of URLs you'll use, absolute and relative. Think of an absolute URL like a full mailing address to another country. It includes the whole shebang, the protocol like HTTPS, the full domain name, and the exact path. You use this when linking out to external websites. A relative URL, on the other hand, is kind of like giving someone directions inside your own house. Go down the hall, take the second left. It assumes the browser already knows the current domain, so you only have to provide the local file path. It is absolutely perfect for internal linking within your own website. This is a perfect example of a relative URL in action. See how the href just says about.html? There's no HTTPS, there's no domain name. It just points directly to a file within the same website folder. The massive advantage here is portability. If you ever move your website to a completely new domain name down the road, all your relative links will instantly work without you having to rewrite a single line of code. But wait, what if you don't want to navigate away from your current page? Take a look at this. We've added a new attribute. Target equals underscore blank. This simple little addition tells the browser to open the link in a brand new tab, keeping your original page safely open in the background. Now, opening a new tab is a deliberate design choice. It's awesome for external links, so users don't lose their place on your site. But just a heads up, it can be a little disorienting for users who rely heavily on their browser's back button. More importantly though, if you use target equals blank, you need to know about a security vulnerability called reverse tab dabbing. Without getting too into the weeds, a malicious site opened in a new tab can actually hijack your original tab. To prevent this, always pair target equals blank with another attribute. Rel equals no opener, no refer. It severs the connection between the tabs and keeps your users safe. Simple fix. Section 4, building navigation menus. You're doing amazing so far. Let's take what we've learned and build something you see on literally every website. Check out this block of HTML. We've taken 4 standard anchor tags, linking to internal pages using relative URLs, and we've wrapped them all inside a nav tag. The nav tag is an HTML element specifically built to hold major navigation blocks. While it doesn't magically change how the links look visually on its own, it creates the structural backbone of a website's menu. It tells search engines and assistive technologies, hey, this is exactly where the main navigation lives. Section 5, link best practices. Because knowing how to code a link is really only half the battle. Let's talk quality control. Please, I am begging you, never use vague words like click here or read more as your link text. It is a huge beginner mistake. For users relying on screen readers, this totally derails the experience. They often pull up a list of just the links on a page. Imagine listening to a list that just says, click here, read more, here. It gives literally zero context. Plus, search engines like Google use your link text to figure out what the destination page is about. Always use descriptive text, like download Firefox over on the right. Let's lock these best practices in. 1. Clearly communicate the destination. 2. Never use naked URLs as your visible text. They look super messy and sound awful when read aloud by a screen reader letter by letter. 3. Don't add redundant phrases like link to because screen readers already announce that it's a link. And finally, from a design perspective, differentiate your links with color and an underline. Color alone just isn't enough for users who are colorblind. Always keep that underline. Now, sometimes your design might require the visible link text to be super short, or maybe it's just an icon, like a little magnifying glass. In those cases, use an ARIA label. ARIA stands for Accessible Rich Internet Applications. It's basically a hidden HTML attribute you add next to your href that provides extra context strictly for screen readers. It ensures visually impaired users get the full story, even if the visible text is tiny. Section 6. Recap and practice task. Let's bring it all together. You now possess the foundational building blocks of the entire web. To recap, hyperlinks connect the web. We build them using the anchor tag paired with the href attribute. We use absolute URLs for linking outside our site and relative URLs for linking internally. If we want a new tab, we drop in target equals blank, and we always use descriptive text to keep things accessible. All right, time to get your hands dirty. Open up your code editor. Your practice task for today is to write a semantic nav menu from scratch. Create 4 relative links pointing to home, about, services, and contact. Give it a shot on your own to really lock in these new skills. Coming up next, HTML images. You've taken a massive step today, but let's be honest, right now your web pages are probably just blocks of text and blue links. In our next explainer, we are going to learn how to bring those pages to life with visual media. I'll leave you with this. You now know how to connect documents using text, but think about how the internet evolved from a boring text-based system into the vibrant interactive web we use every single day. How entirely will your websites change once we combine these skills and turn images themselves into clickable portals to other worlds? It's going to be awesome. See you in the next explainer.